Hey everyone, today I want to talk about Social Security and why it is so important. If you're the younger side, you might not know what Social Security is, but it's super important that you understand the benefits of it and the purpose of it because it will affect your retirement quite a bit. Social Security retirement benefits is basically a government funded program where you pay taxes during your working years to help fund your retirement in your later years. We're thinking usually around 62 and up. When I say fund your retirement, I literally mean that the government will cut you a check on a monthly basis. If you have parents or grandparents who are aged 62 and above, they might have Social Security already. So definitely talk to them about it and get a good idea about how does Social Security work and how it's funded. If you don't have that luxury, then keep watching this video and hopefully I'll describe it in much more detail. Since the Social Security benefits are a government-funded program, let's break down the taxes, right? How much are you actually paying in taxes? It roughly comes out to 12.4% of your paycheck. Now, 12.4% is divided between you and your employer in half. Every paycheck, you are paying 6.2%, and your employer is paying the other 6.2%. In total, 12.4% goes toward funding Social Security in the future for yourself. You can sort of think of it like forced savings for retirement. Right? In America, we have a real problem with saving for retirement. As you can see, 401k balances, IRA balances aren't as high as they should be to fund your retirement. So that's why the government sort of steps in and helps you, forces you to save by paying this tax. The average monthly Social Security retirement benefit as of January 2023 is $1,827. Which when you extend it out to a whole year, comes down to $21,924. Now, $22,000 is not really a livable wage in many parts of America. Ideally, you supplement your Social Security retirement benefits with other savings that you have for retirement. So keep that in mind, right? It's very good to have Social Security retirement benefits, but it shouldn't be the only thing that you're counting on. But nevertheless, definitely something that will help you out along the way. Now that you understand what Social Security retirement benefits are, let's talk about how you can qualify for it. Right? There's a few approaches to qualify for it, but we'll talk about high level and just the generic details. If you work and you pay your taxes, by definition, you're paying into the system. Remember what I said, the 12.4% for Social Security taxes is non-negotiable. You have to pay it. You're going to pay half of it, which is 6.2%. And eventually, if you pay enough taxes, then you qualify. The Social Security Administration has this concept of credits. You need basically 40 credits to qualify for Social Security. You can earn up to 4 credits per year. Now, each of these credits has a monetary amount assigned to it. I won't get too deep into details, but I will attach links for folks to read about it. And since you can only earn 4 credits per year, and you need 40 credits, divide 40 by 4, you end up with 10 years. At a minimum, you need to work 10 years to qualify for Social Security. Keep in mind, that means if you were paid your wages in cash only and it did not get taxed via Social Security taxes, chances are those years and those dates don't count toward your Social Security. The best way to check if your paycheck is counting toward Social Security is just check if you're paying a tax. There'll literally be a line in your deductions or taxes that they refer to as FICA Social Security. Once you do qualify for those credits, you can't just decide, hey, I'm going to retire today and start collecting my money. There is actually an age requirement, which goes back to what I said about 62. The minimum age to start collecting Social Security benefits is at 62. There are exceptions to this, but generally speaking, for most of us, 62 is the earliest age we could start collecting Social Security retirement benefits. If there wasn't a minimum age, then folks who worked 10 years, they would just decide to stop working, right? Start collecting benefits. So that's why the age is put in place. If you're not sure if you have enough credits, not a big deal. Just check out on that website, ssa.gov, which is the Social Security Administration website, and just create an account there, and there you can see exactly how much credits you have so far. And once you do qualify, they'll even give you an estimate for how much you can expect to receive in Social Security if you decide to claim it by a specific age. Once you qualify for Social Security, the next question is, how do I know how much I'll be paid? Right? We have an average number that we saw before, but there are different factors that are at play here that can impact how much that number will be once it comes time for you to claim your Social Security. Social Security taxes are a little bit special because the more you pay in Social Security taxes, the more your retirement benefit will be. If you start paying more taxes than other folks, then your retirement benefit is going to be higher. Since everyone has a fixed tax rate of 6.2%, then really all it comes down to is that you need to make more money or have a higher wage to actually pay more in those taxes and to qualify for more retirement benefits. The Social Security Administration has a formula for calculating exactly how much you would get. Just to break it down in the simplest terms as possible, they take your highest 35 earning years, and then based on numerous factors outside of your control, such as inflation, how the economy is doing, how the government is doing, they will determine how much you would be paid in retirement. So if you happen to work 40 years, they're only going to take the 35 highest earning. Then they will be able to calculate your highest earning years, and you should be fine. With that said, there are two factors that you can't control to either increase or decrease your retirement benefits. The first one we spoke about already, which was basically make more money. I know, easier said than done, but the more money you make, the higher retirement benefit would be because technically you paid more toward it. So it's only fair that you receive more out of it when you do retire. The second one is a little bit interesting. It's more about delaying your retirement, right? So instead of claiming your retirement benefits at 62, you would claim them at a later age, like 67 or 70, right? Depending on the year that you were born in. Right, so there is a trade-off here. Once you start collecting your retirement benefits, that number is fixed, and it will be fixed until the day that you pass away. Now, that's not to say that you wouldn't get inflation adjustments, you would, but generally speaking, the number is fixed at that point. That's why the government has an interest in that you delay claiming those benefits. You have to think of it like a balancing act. The earlier you claim it, the less money you receive per month. If you delay it, the more money you receive per month. The website has a great calculator on this to help you determine how much you would actually be losing or gaining depending on when you choose to retire. Just to give you an example calculation, right, between 62 and 67, 67 for most people is the full retirement age, right? So this is the age you receive 100% of your retirement benefit. If you retire at 62, you only received 70% of your retirement benefit. So if we use the average number that we had before, which is $1,827, if you choose to retire at 67, you get the full $1,827. If you choose to retire at 62, so earlier, you'll receive $1,270.90. And this number is fixed until you pass away. Right? If you choose to delay it, that new number is fixed until you pass away. Right? So it is really thinking about, hey, should I be claiming them earlier or later? Right? Do you need it earlier? If you decide you're going to stop working entirely at 62 and you have no other income, then you'll be forced to claim it. But if you can afford to delay retirement or have another source of income, even after you retire from a full-time job, then potentially you have more money in Social Security. There is a benefits calculator that will have rough estimations once you put in your salary and the age that you were born in and so on. So check out that calculator, figure out how much you can expect to receive in retirement for Social Security, and hopefully that's helpful. Whenever we talk about Social Security, there's always another topic that comes up. Are there concerns about Social Security? What they really mean is Social Security sustainable? Can the government continuously pay you money until you pass away? The answer is yes and no, and none of it is really your fault, but we have to understand the risk and factors at play when it comes to Social Security and be able to make a good judgment call, right? You don't have a choice if you want to pay in or not pay in Social Security. You're forced to pay into it. But at the very least, you should understand where the concerns are coming from and if they're relevant to you. First of all, let me clear the air. Social Security is not going away, not in our lifetimes. It's not going to run out of money. A lot of these headlines tend to over-exaggerate the issue, almost as if Social Security is just going to stop paying you money one day. And then we're going to have a bunch of people who are 62 and above that are not going to be able to retire, right? They're going to have to work forever. That's not the case. Social Security is not going to run out of money, right? I can't emphasize that enough. It's not going to run out of money. There's still concerns for it, right? We should be honest about that. But it's not going to stop paying you one day. You're not, and then you just basically pay into a system that you can't benefit from. That's not going to happen. So then what is all the concern, right? Where are all these headlines coming from? It's because the Social Security Administration themselves has projected that by the year 2033, And keep in mind, this year gets earlier every year because they report on this every year. A couple of years ago, it was 2035. That by 2033, we will have depleted all of our trust fund reserves. That's a fancy word. What exactly does it mean? The short version of this is that there won't be any excess funds to make up the difference for what we pay out to folks who are claiming Social Security benefits and to what we receive in from folks who are paying into Social Security. In other words, the government is going to have less money coming in than going out, right? So they're going to be working off of a deficit, if you will. The impact on us is that we'll still have Social Security benefits. There will just be less of it. I know you don't like hearing that, but that's the truth, right? That's what's going to happen unless there are major policy changes. There are a couple things that the government can do, but we have to sit tight and hope that our politicians will listen to us and make those changes. Since you're receiving less Social Security benefits, how much less? Now, you're going to be receiving 23% less or keeping 77% of it. If we were to visualize that with the numbers that we saw before, with our example calculation for 62 versus 67, after 2034, if nothing else is done, 67 at 100%, which is your full retirement benefit, would be $1,827. Now, after 2034, that number, 77% of that, comes out to $1,406.79. It's a lot less, right? It's basically $400 less, roughly. It sounds really bad, right? It sounds bad. That's a lot of money that you're basically not going to get because the government is mismanaging the Social Security funds, right? There's just not enough money coming in. Now, you must be wondering, hey, if we're hitting 77%, when are we going to hit 0%, right? When exactly is the Social Security going to run out of money? Although they are projecting by 2033, we're only getting 77% of our benefits. They're also projecting by 2096, we will be getting 72% of our benefits. Right? So you see the huge gap in number of years there? It's kind of crazy that in our generation, we won't run out of money for Social Security. Right? So you shouldn't be concerned about that portion. You should be concerned about the fact that you're going to get less in Social Security. Now, some of you might be wondering, why is this happening? Are politicians just stealing our money? And where's the money going for the Social Security Administration? I'm paying the 6.2%. I expect to get my money back in retirement. So where's it going? Well, there's a couple of factors happening, and unfortunately, none of them are in our favor, nor are they easy problems to solve. The first big one is a good news, actually. People are living longer. And remember, Social Security benefits are paid out until you pass away. It is good news and sort of bad news when it comes to Social Security, right? They can't just pay you out indefinitely if you keep living longer. But folks are living longer, which means the government has to pay more money out. And in that case, it will deplete the funds. The population of folks over 65 is growing every year. In other words, there's more people who are not working and claiming benefits because they are in old age and they'll live longer than there are young people who actually are working and paying for those benefits. On one hand, you have people living longer, and then there's the other side of the spectrum where there just aren't enough babies. But there is an issue where if you don't have enough young people working and paying into those benefits, then you can't support a growing population of people who are living longer. So there's two things happening here. On one side, you have less taxes coming in from the younger folks. On the other side, you have more benefits going out, which are funded by those taxes because people are living longer. These are problems that come with more mature economies. It's not unique to the United States. There's a lot of other countries who are facing similar issues. All right, now that you understand Social Security, how it's funded, how it's calculated for you in retirement, and then also the concerns around it, let's talk about next steps for you, right? What can you do to basically improve your knowledge of Social Security and be better prepared for it when you hit 62 or 67, depending on when you want to retire? It's always important to check out the yearly trustees report summary, which will tell you exactly what the Social Security Administration is thinking about their benefits. Or you can just check out my videos, which is, shameless plug, but it's also helpful for understanding the status of Social Security. The second one, like I mentioned earlier, is to sign up for SSA.gov. It's a great tool for you to visualize how many credits you have so far, and also for you to figure out how much you can expect in retirement for Social Security benefits. And then you want to double check your retirement investments. Right? Since we're going to get less money for Social Security, that means we have to make more money elsewhere for retirement, or we have to make up for the difference. Now, that can be your 401k, your IRA, even an individual investment account. The best way to approach it is to grow your wealth, and that is investing. And lastly, I'm not hopeful about this, but you should still try anyway. Ask for politicians to fix it. Social Security is very important to pretty much everyone because everyone needs to retire. That's a common financial goal for most people. And no one wants to work indefinitely. It's not sustainable. So ask your politicians to take a look at Social Security, and hopefully they will come up with a proposal to fix it. All right, I hope you learned quite a bit about Social Security, and I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave some comments.